Hi guys, and welcome to our channel. My name's Shanika.
My name's Keni.
And we're both chefs from London. So Keni, tell us about how we met.
Right, so about 3 years ago, we were working at a restaurant within a hotel in London. And I think I'd been there for about, 6 months or a year. And Shanika popped in one day, unknowing of her current position. The story is quite funny because as Shanika walks in, everybody expects Shanika to be at the same level. So the majority of the chefs in the kitchen were chef de parties.
Yeah.
And we all thought that when Shanika joined us, that she too would be chef de party because the majority of people that did come were chef de parties.
Yeah, and also the majority of the people. So we still work for this company now, and the majority of the people that do get hired as a chef de party. Yeah.
So the ranking goes commis, demi chef de party, senior chef de party, and
I came
onwards.
as a demi CVP.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, so you weren't far off then.
No, but yeah.
So what ended up happening was that because everybody expects everybody to be able to do the same thing, being hired at the same position, we just have this standard. And so I assumed that Shanika would be able to do what everybody else had currently been doing, which turned out not to be
true.
Yeah.
No, so the reality was I was quite inexperienced. I was a young chef. I still am a young chef, with a lot less experience than that team had.
True.
And that kitchen, generally speaking, was, we can say, maybe struggling. And so I kind of got taken. So another piece of information is I came in as a prep chef. So when you come in as a prep chef and you come in as a quite junior chef, that's kind of like the lowest of the low. Not that there's anything wrong with being a prep chef, it's a great job.
We've all got to start somewhere.
But there's definitely a hierarchy in kitchens. So I kind of got pulled out of that job. No one really knew what I was doing or why I was there. And I just got chucked into a section one day with no instructions.
See, I remember this particularly because I thought you got put onto the larder section.
Yeah.
And I just assumed that you knew what you were doing. And every time a check came on and you were struggling, I just thought that you were being completely and utterly just weird. Like, why wouldn't you just be able to do this and do that and the 5 other jobs that you had to do all at once and then make sure that you had all your backup in the fridge? So we had a lot of this going on in the beginning where I just thought, why are you not getting it? But looking back now, I can see that there was so much missed in between, you know. Had I known that you were at another level, you know. But then ultimately, that did get found out, and you know, we helped you. This is how we became friends.
Yeah. So we kind of initiated a conversation because, well, one, I was super intrigued by Keni because she was just kind of hardcore and I was struggling, and I think one of the best ways that you can learn to work is to emulate how another person is working.
Also, I think I was one of the only females at the time, so we had another.
Actually, we had a few females, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's not enough in the kitchen anyway, so you know there is that.
Yeah, that is true. Kitchens are very male dominated, and quite testosterone filled.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So even as a woman, you kind of really need to stand your ground in a kitchen.
Straight away. And
that is something that I think Keni shows quite strongly in a kitchen, and is quite so. It was quite intimidating. But I was quite determined because I was quite intrigued by Keni's character. I think you're quite boisterous and energetic in kitchens.
Yeah.
And I was quite intrigued to kind of get to know her and have a conversation. So I was trying to find anything possible. And one day I just kind of heard her mention veganism. And I'd been vegan for about 6 months. And I was in a relationship for 2 years where I was eating mostly vegetarian because of that person then, and I kind of saw this as a nice wiggle room to get into a conversation. And what did you think about?
I think that definitely anchored our relationship because I think I was the only one in the kitchen actually that had started looking into what it meant to eat like a vegan or be anything similar to a vegan. So I was intrigued and I was in my whole bubble of learning. And for me in particular, when you mentioned that, I thought, you know, oh, there's somebody else, it's not just myself. So that was definitely a nice conversation to be had. And then from there on, I think it mellowed me.
Or do you think so?
Yeah,
Okay.
It's like, I think we all have like a facade that we put up. You know, you put your guard up. You have a certain image that you portray, and once you have something in common with somebody else, you have to put your guard down in order for that person to come in and then have a nice sort of conversation and build upon that bond.
And I think also once that had happened and the walls were kind of broken, it kind of just spiraled. Like, I think we just realized how many things we had in
It
common.
was endless, yeah.
It was, and I think that is one of the reasons why we want to start this channel, because we challenge each other.
Yeah.
We have very deep and meaningful conversations, but we challenge each other
In a respectful manner.
Yeah.
And we disagree on some things as well.
Yeah, we do, and we have totally different life perspectives where I think we're at different points in our lives.
Definitely. You yourself?
Yeah, so I'm obviously a young female, I grew up in London. You know, I've studied at university in Leicester. I came back home, and you know, I'm very fresh and very young. And Keni, I think you're at a totally different stage. You've done your kind of your world traveling.
Yeah.
But tell us a bit about
Sure.
where you
So
are now.
I grew up in Denmark. Done all my studying in my chef college in Denmark. Did my practical placement in London, and I've actually kind of stayed ever since. And now I'm a mother of 2 younger children.
That within itself is a very interesting story for another time.
Definitely, yeah. Mother of 2 with an awesome husband who's also a chef. Majority of my family are actually chefs.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cooking.
Yeah, totally.
And so going forward, this is kind of what we want with this channel. We want to have a discussion with you guys as well, where we can talk about things that maybe are a bit taboo or just interesting, maybe go into depth, and then just kind of see where it leads from there.
Yeah, and also to just take a holistic approach to the conversations we want to have, to touch on things about family, about the self, health, wealth.
Yeah.
A lot of conversations.
Yeah.
So we hope that we can share these discussions with you. We hope that you guys can engage with us. But for now, I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah, that's right.
And see you very soon.
Thank you much for tuning in. Bye bye.